What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector, and I'm your host, the Bearded One. Let's get right into the video. I'm procrastinating right before I have to go to work. Don't feel like doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm going to do Neil Collect's 10 question challenge. Number one, right off the bat, if you could only have 3 channels to watch for the rest of your life, what 3 would you pick? Well, Neil, I didn't watch your video for this round of questioning, so I'm not aware of the intention of this exact question. So I'm going to evade what I think you mean by this question and give you a different answer. I would need TNT, the TV channel TNT for my wrestling. I would need the channel ESPN for my hockey and my football. And then I would take one YouTube channel, replace a TV channel with a YouTube channel, and say Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right channel. I consider a lot of you friends out here in the community, and I just couldn't pick 3. So, Neil, that's on you. You didn't specify, or at least I'm not aware of what your intentions of that question are. So, getting around it. Number 2, if you were walking down the road and found $50, what would you do with it? I'd go to the LCS and either buy comic book supplies or dollar bin hunt. Have you ever traveled out of the country you live in? No. The farthest north, I'm from Alabama, United States of America. The farthest south I've ever gone is the Panhandle of Florida. Well, no, I've been to Orlando, Florida. That's the farthest south I've ever gone. The farthest north I've ever gone is to Vermont. The farthest east I've ever gone is to Washington, D.C., and the farthest west I've ever gone is Monroe, Louisiana. So I've not really been out of the eastern half of the United States, really, much less traveled out of the country. Pick which natural disaster you would be in. So I'm not going to name off what he wants me to pick because I already know I would want to be in a tornado. I grew up loving the movie Twister with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt and, I forget his name. He died recently. He was in Peyote. Not Peyote, Capote, not Peyote. I forget his name. His dad's Rain Man in that Tom Cruise movie. Anyways, Twister, you get the idea. And then I had a Twister or a tornado VHS like documentary or whatever, and I would watch it over and over and over and over and over. And by the time I was in 10th or 11th grade, I had the dream of going to Oklahoma University, and I was going to be the next great meteorologist, storm chaser. And that was before reality set in, and I had to get a job, and I had to pay bills, and my grades in high school wouldn't allow it. What superpowers would you like to have? So there's a small chance I could be on the spectrum, and what I mean the spectrum, the autism spectrum. My dad is probably full-blown Asperger's. And so saying that to say, I would want Mr. Fantastic's power, Mr. Fantastic from, excuse me, not Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific from DC. All you Justice Society fans know who I'm talking about. Mr. Terrific has the power to learn anything like one time and instantly be a genius at it. And, with the attention deficit I struggle with, and then possibly maybe having just a hair of Asperger traits, I would love to have that ability to use my brain like that. Have you ever had a road rage? Yes, and I've never hit anybody or gotten in a wreck over it. But especially on my way to work, when I work first shift, I'm drive like a bat out of hell. I'm one of those guys that doesn't get to work an hour early or even 30 minutes early. I'm definitely one of those get out of bed, throw clothes on, go to work kind of people. And I remember one time I drive a 2012 Charger. It's not souped up and it doesn't have, this great engine. It's just a V6. But, even still, I still drive like a bat out of hell to work. And I punched the gas. I was going well over 100. And I was coming up on this Mustang. I heard his muffler. I imagine the Mustang was souped up or whatever. and I blew the doors off the guy just trying to get to work. And I made it to my exit. I slowed down. This is probably a 5 mile stretch. I made it to my exit, and I guess the guy was following me, and I heard his car blow right past me as I had made my exit, which he didn't pass me before I made my exit, so I beat him, and I was laughing when I made my exit. But I guess that counts as road rage. So, what's the craziest thing you've ever done in your life? I have no idea. I would guess having a child is the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. Just the thought, I was kind of terrified at first when I had my son, and raising a little human infant being that can't care for themselves. They're totally reliant on you, and this tiny little human is going to die if you don't take care of it, if you don't give it the proper medical care, the proper nutrition, the proper sleep, etc., etc. I would say having children is probably the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. Not a fun answer, I know, but it gets pretty crazy, especially for those of you who have children. You understand what I'm saying. Would you rather lose an arm or a leg? If I lose an arm, there's a pretty good chance that I have to get out of the field I'm in, that I have an associate's degree in, that I have time in. Since I was in my mid-20s, I've been a welder, a fabricator. Now I'm in maintenance. I'm kind of a multi-craft guy now. Work on hydraulic presses, and I also do robot technician work, and I get into maintenance. All this requires my arms, and I don't know if I could do that anymore even with a prosthetic arm. So, and with a prosthetic leg, it would take time to walk. It would be awkward to walk, but I feel like I could still perform my job to some capacity without one of my legs. Do you believe in reincarnation? I think it's possible. Do I believe in it? Straight up, no, I don't believe in reincarnation. But that doesn't mean that I think it's impossible for reincarnation to be a thing. Science says that energy is not created or destroyed. So when you die, the energy inside your body has to go somewhere. And a religious person would believe that your energy goes to the afterlife, to heaven or Valhalla or hell or the underworld or wherever. Some Catholics believe in purgatory. So, if you believe in an afterlife, if you believe that a God or a deity created you inside the womb of a human being, then it would not be totally impossible for this deity or this creator to give you another chance at life. And on a funny side note, one of my favorite stories in comic books is Lobo's Back, and that's a story about reincarnation. I mentioned it before, and saying it again. Go read Lobo's Back. Great story. And then Apple or Android. I don't know about the Apple versus Android argument, but when it comes to the iMac versus the personal computer, I don't know about this anymore with the inflation and then the cryptocurrency really inflating the cost of a graphics processing unit. But I do know that at least for a long time, you could build a personal computer, and they're not that hard to build. It's basically adult Legos. There's plenty of personal computer building channels out there on YouTube that will guide you easily through the process. It's not as intimidating as it seems to build a computer. You could build a computer many times faster than an iMac for the same price or cheaper than an iMac. And that's bogus. That's a thing that exists. The iMac should not be as expensive as it is. And so for that reason, I'll have to go Android versus Apple. I'm actually filming on a Galaxy S22 Ultra. Galaxies and when it comes to smartphones, they're all inflated. They're all meant to degrade over time. They're all made in sweatshops. Whatever argument you could make for or against Apple or Android, they're all in on it together. Capitalism, baby. What are you gonna do, right? So I just have to go with Android for the pure fact that I hate the Apple ecosystem. You have to be an Apple user to get these perks with other Apple users. I hate that crap. And I don't like the fact that, at least for a time, I haven't checked, I haven't ran numbers, but at least for a time you could build a personal computer for the same price or cheaper than an iMac, and that's bogus. So those are my 10 questions. I can't believe I went 11 minutes on this. I need to shut this down and go get ready for work. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you to Neil Collects for asking these 10 questions for us to answer. It's given me an opportunity to make more content. Go check out Neil Collects, and until next time, guys.